Hey everyone, it's Lord Deathman, the host of the Podcast of Champions today, as we dive into a special episode of Trailer Talk. On this edition, we are going to be discussing the latest trailer, the full trailer for the Moonknight series that is upcoming on Disney Plus. So that trailer dropped last week. It got an amazing reaction from the fandom, and we are now taking the time to assemble the panel today to discuss it. On the call, on the chat, we have the Grandmaster. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you.
We've got Taylor on the line here.
Hey, everybody.
We also have Loki's mom joining us for this discussion.
Hello, everyone.
And we also have a veteran of the podcast joining us, Mr. Arch Stanton.
Ooh, we got a lot of content today. If you're a Boba Fett fan or a Black Panther fan, got a lot coming out. Check it out.
Yeah, indeed. So we've taped 3 back-to-back shows, guys. Really, tune into the YouTube channel to check out all of the great content we're producing. We're coming into 2022 heavy. And I know that everybody can't wait to talk about this particular trailer. So I'm going to jump right into this discussion on Trailer Talk here. Grandmaster, what did you think of that Moonknight trailer?
In one word, fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It was just great. I don't know a whole lot about the character of Moonknight. I know a little, but not much. From what I saw, it's really a show that I will enjoy because it has a little bit of a mystical feel, and I like that.
Outstanding. We're going to come back around to you to get some of your specific highlights. So think about that while we're going around the table. But Taylor, what was your overall impression of the Moonknight trailer?
It looks good. I mean, it didn't really show us a whole lot. The focus of the trailer was on the character's mental state. I'm guessing the next trailer we'll see more of the superhero stuff. But what they showed us was all very, very exciting. It looked good.
All right. Yeah, we're going to come back, Taylor, to you and talk about some of your expectations for the show, just in terms of things you might be hoping to see, things you don't want to see, et cetera, et cetera. But moving on to Loki's mom, I have the same question for you. Your general overall feeling on the Moonknight trailer.
I've seen it twice, and I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, more so for Oscar Isaacs, I think, than anything. I mean, I would watch anything he's in, so I'm in the bag already just for that. But yeah, with the excitement and everything, and I'm like Grandmaster. I know less than he does about Moonknight. Didn't even know there was a character named that. So this is going to be a whole new experience for me. I'm going to be learning all new characters and heroes and villains and everything else, hopefully.
All right. And last but not least, Stanton, let's get your thoughts on that trailer and some of the excitement you might be feeling or not feeling for the Moonknight series.
Oh, I'm excited, man. I think it feels different in a very good way. It looks like it's got a psychological horror vibe. I think they did a great job getting into, or at least demonstrating this. I'll just call it psychological horror vibe that's going on with this guy. It looks like they got a lot going on, and I also love Oscar Isaac. I think everything I've seen him in ever so far, he's a completely different person, different character. I think he's a fantastic actor. I can't wait for this.
Indeed. So our listeners out there, obviously, we have unanimous excitement and praise for this particular trailer that came out. But I want to go back around the table and just sort of get an idea of what were the standout moments from the trailer for you, if there were any, and what kind of expectations you might have for the show overall. I want to start this round with Taylor. What really stood out to you in the trailer? What was a key moment that you felt like, oh, I'm sold?
Well, nothing really stood out to me specifically. I mean, I did find the one scene interesting where he gets out of bed and we see that he's chained to the bed. And that, again, that kind of sums up his mental state. He's not in control of himself. And of course, they kept emphasizing in the trailer that he doesn't know the difference between dreams and reality. So obviously, it's going to be a story that has some sort of, not reality portion of it, where I don't know if it's another dimension or what it is, crosses over into reality at some level. Again, they didn't give us very much at all in this trailer, and I'm not familiar with Moonknight in the comics either, so I don't really have any expectations other than we've seen our hero here, and he's a great actor, and he's mentally unstable. I mean, they made that very clear. He's got an issue going on. And that makes the character, interesting, intriguing, makes him three-dimensional, which is a problem. I don't want to get into a whole nother podcast, but if your character has no personal flaws, he's two-dimensional. And sometimes they do that with superheroes. Marvel, for the most part, at least in phases 1, 2, 3, their heroes had personal flaws that they had to overcome, in addition to the external threats that they had to overcome, which made them just that much better. But if the character doesn't have any of those internal flaws, if every threat he faces is external, something being done to him by someone else, it's just one less level of storytelling. But I don't think we're going to have that problem in this show. He's definitely got some issues to deal with himself.
Right. And the trailer, the genius of it is that they thrust you right into those issues. So, but moving on, I want to talk to the Grandmaster for a second. It seems that there's not a lot of knowledge about Moon Knight amongst the fandom. Even well-read Marvel folks don't really know a lot about Moon Knight. I think if you've been reading Marvel comics for any length of time, you probably went through a short Moon Knight phase, or maybe you're one of the 1 in 10 fans that is hardcore and picked up every single series. But essentially, Moon Knight is a vigilante who suffers from a dissociative identity disorder, or schizophrenia, as it used to be called back in the older comic books. He is also the avatar of the moon god Khonshu, the Fist of Khonshu, as he is referred to in the comic books. And the comic books have always skirted the line between whether what is happening to Mark Spector is actually happening, or if he is just insane and indulging in some kind of psychosis or an overall fantasy. So playing with reality and the surreal like that has always been a key factor with Moon Knight. And this show really promises to be something different from the House of Ideas on Disney Plus. But tell me, Grandmaster, what really stood out to you in this trailer?
Well, first of all, the moment where the Ethan Hawke character, I think he's called Arthur, but I'm not sure, says, "Embrace the chaos," and you see the suit coming alive around Mark Spector, I guess we should call the character. Yeah, and of course that amazing shot where he turns after he was beating that guy up, where you see the costume in full gear. I absolutely loved how it looked. And yeah, basically the acting of Oscar Isaac was
I was gonna say the acting.
I mean, he is acting his ass off, and it's so believable. It's so different from anything I've seen before from him. He was really good. At least that he gave me that impression. He's really good.
Yeah, he's an incredible actor, and I want to jump over to Lokismom to get her highlights from the trailer. What did you think of that chimney sweep accent?
I did, I actually read an article, I think it's in The Guardian or one of them, which was complaining about and he sounded, and Oscar Isaac with his Dick Van Dyke accent. And I thought, well, and then when I listened to it, it didn't, I'm not that, whatever accent he was using, I don't know what it was, particular regional English accent he was using, but it sounded authentic to me, at least what I heard. Other highlights, I like the idea that this is going to be, is this real? Is this unreal? Where are we? Certainly this is going to play into the whole, multiverse of madness type phase that we're entering into, where we're going to be phasing in and out of universes where just like we did in Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man, where you have these characters just sort of weaving in and out. They'll come in, but then they'll leave again. And I think it sort of speaks to the fact that the whole world's in such chaos right now. I mean, I think we're going to really identify with that whole. We're going to just identify with it, with the Avengers at that point, because they are going to be us trying to figure out what the heck's going on. And lastly, I'll say that one thing I liked about it, I got sort of a Hitchcock vibe from the trailer, even though it was very, very fast moving. But there were certain scenes where he's falling. I've seen that in Hitchcock. I just almost wanted to hear like Bernard Herrmann music in the background. that would really tie it up together. So I like the idea that here's a man who's going to have the rug pulled out from him, and not just once, but multiple times.
Indeed. I couldn't agree with you more. It sounds like they're really taking us into new territory with a complete mind trip when it comes to Moon Knight. I now want to turn to Stanton. We're dealing with someone who has a dissociative identity disorder, and this is not the first time you've seen this, not even in Marvel Comics or on Marvel television. We had Legion, who was struggling similarly with schizophrenia, but in this case, it seems weird to me in the trailer that Oscar Isaacs almost wakes up into a new identity at these completely weird and inappropriate moments. But what stood out to you in the trailer overall, Stanton?
I guess there were at least two things. One, my kind of the specific scene that stood out to me was the elevator scene when he's in there and you see this phantom of the Moon Knight avatar kind of walking down this dark hallway towards him, and he's completely freaking out. He's afraid. He's panicking, and then this old lady pops in instead, and that sort of breaking of reality. I don't know what's happening exactly there. I don't know if that's him confronting the reality of this. I don't know what's happening there. But I thought that really highlighted the psychological break that he's enduring, whatever that's going to mean exactly in the show. But another thing I really enjoyed about it was what you didn't see, which was a lot of connections or any specific connection to the larger MCU. And I think that's cool because it highlights that this is doing something different. It doesn't appear to be relying on any heavy lifting from the history that we've seen so far in the MCU, and I think that's a good break. There's plenty of shows like WandaVision or Loki or Hawkeye that does ask you to have known a lot about what's going on in the history of the MCU, but I think it's great that they can switch gears and do something completely different. I get the impression this is going to definitely have some ties, possibly to Blade, possibly to Black Knight at some point. Who knows? But it seems refreshing. It seems refreshingly different, and I like that. In terms of Oscar's portrayal, though, I kind of mentioned this earlier. He seems like a different guy every time I see him, whether it's Ex Machina or Dune or, God forbid, Apocalypse. But all of those things, he's almost unrecognizable from role to role to role. And I just appreciate his range. I appreciate any actor that can bring that sort of range, and I like his quirkiness and his eccentricity and just his ability to just dive into a role. I think it looks like a great show.
Yeah, it really does. It looks like it has a huge amount of potential, and as always, it looks like it's pushing Disney Plus further and further to these incredibly, high new levels with Marvel television. But just doing a little bit of housekeeping here. Arthur Harrow is the name of the Ethan Hawke villain that we're going to be seeing in this. I think he is the main villain. I also want to point out that a young actor, Gaspard Ulliel, forgive me if I butcher his name, 37-year-old actor who was also playing a villain in this particular series. He just passed away a couple of days ago in a tragic ski accident. But barring that setback with the show, it looks like they're on track to have yet another hit at Marvel TV. But I do, I was just about to solicit final comments on the trailer, and you beat me by half a second. But go ahead, Grandmaster. Give us your final notes on the trailer.
I just want to point out that it's going to be the first Disney Plus show that's going to not play off known characters, but is actually going to introduce a new character, and there's that's a first for a Disney Plus show, and it goes to show that the Disney Plus shows are very important for the MCU going forward, and if you're not watching them, you're missing out.
Indeed, indeed. And Stanton, I saw your hand go up again. Any final notes on the trailer?
Yeah, I thought it was worth mentioning. I don't have the exact statistics under me, but I believe this was the most watched trailer of any of the Marvel TV shows so far, which I found quite surprising, but also very encouraging. So I thought that was a cool little note.
Yeah, they are under a lot of pressure to deliver with this one. And thank you for sharing that. When I did my research, I did not come across that little factoid that we might have had the highest amount of views on this trailer for Disney Plus. I should have surely checked out trailer views for this discussion. So thank you, Stanton. But I will close out this show by saying that Marvel should officially be paying Comic Book Girl 19 a royalty, because I believe it was her who coined the phrase "embrace the chaos" on her YouTube show, and now it's being co-opted into Moonknight. So I hope they live up to it. And if you've been listening out there, thank you for joining us in this discussion of the Moonknight trailer. I also want to thank the panel for sharing their thoughts and sticking around today for the taping. If you're out there and enjoying the show and the content from the champions, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also like the video. Leave comments. Check us out on social media. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. I think we're even on Instagram. But also be sure to check us out at sakar.freeforums.net. Join the forum. Great discussion about all sorts of fandoms going on there. And yeah, be safe out there, guys.